Today, what I want to talk to you guys is about our BioTrack New York integration. What's happening? The cannabis market in New York, they've been operating without an integration with the C2C regulator. If you don't know what that means yet, basically, when we make sales on Flowhub, we, in many cases, have to push that to a regulatory system contracted with the state. The main one we integrate with is called Metric. The other one is called BioTrack. BioTrack is doing their integration a little bit differently from what we at Flowhub have been used to. They're providing an API-only integration. What that means is there's no user interface for someone to log into to check to see what something looks like in BioTrack as compared to what it looks like in Flowhub. Obviously, if you've seen our platform, we have powerful tools to compare Flowhub inventory to regulatory inventory, but we have to add on quite a few more features to essentially serve as BioTrack. The state set a deadline for everybody on the supply chain to be integrated by October of this year, but details are lacking. There's many questions that are not answered, and we have our first deadline, August 1st. This is a deadline for cultivators. Each arm of the supply chain has their own deadline to integrate, which is unusual. It's not usually how a C2C integration is kind of rolled out in a state. Usually everybody goes live at the same time because it's a supply chain. It might seem like we don't have a lot of details, but here's the thing. We're not alone in that. Everyone else in this space also has the same lack of detail as us. Let's talk about our obligation in terms of our integration. So this is the roadmap here. So we've been building in our sandbox. BioTrack gave us access to our sandbox in February. And we've been building all of our usual Flowhub actions in BioTrack, and then we're building our new BioTrack workflows. This is a huge milestone. I submitted an API test. What this test was is BioTrack basically is like, when you're done with your integration, here's a list of stuff we want you to do. Fill it out in the spreadsheet, give us the regulatory IDs for everything, the manifest IDs, all this stuff. And then we're going to review it and we're going to let you know if you passed or failed. And so that's where we are right now. We're waiting for BioTrack to validate our integration. I am confident that we will pass validation. So once we pass validation, BioTrack will approve us as a valid integrator for New York. From then on, the timeline gets hazier. As I said, August 1st, cultivators are supposed to be complete with the integration for BioTrack. Typically, when a state does a transition like this, there's often like some sort of grace period, sometimes deadlines shift or change. Given where we are now, I suspect that might be something happening with New York, but we are operating as if these deadlines are real. I asked the question yesterday in the meeting of when do we think retailers are going to expect to get this like one admin user login that BioTrack provides everybody, and then we build the rest of the users. And with that, they said, well, in the form that people filled out in January to say, hey, BioTrack, here's who we want to use for integration. Here's who's going to be our admin user. A lot of people put like their lawyer as their admin user, or someone who helps them with the application, for example. Like somebody who wasn't actually part of the day-to-day business. And so the state also has to kind of figure that out in terms of who does BioTrack actually provision access to for every single licensee. So our strategy is not to provide more noise in the space. We want to make sure that when we have an update, it's concrete and actionable. So what we're focusing on is our training and our integration, the stuff that our users are going to need to know. When it comes to implementation on the ground, we're going to see what the state has to say. More to come when I know more.